We had a visitor this morning, Carrie.
Mr. Evans.
Came to pay his last respects to his sister. Quite natural.
I had to tell you to get out. Your precious Mr. Evans gave them a month's notice.
But Albert, you said they could stay. The will.
There isn't a will, apparently.
It's quite true, I'm afraid. Mr. Evans rang the solicitor in the bank in London, and there's no will to be found anywhere. I expect the poor soul thought she'd done it. It's not uncommon with old people when they're sick and in pain most of the time, so no blame attaches to her.
Oh, I don't blame her. But maybe if he hadn't known what was going on in her mind, he wouldn't have been so quick to be round here, prying, poking his nose in and throwing his weight about. And you told him, didn't you?
Albert, that's enough. If you two aren't friends again, by the time this is cooked, you'll get the rough edge of my tongue. I'm a bit short on patience this evening.
Come on, we better do as she says.
Where are you going?
To Mrs. Go-to-bed's room.
Is she in there?
Of course not. She's downstairs in her coffin. And anyway, she couldn't hurt you. That vile man Evans came in here. He went through everything. He even made a list. And then he said he'd hold Hepzibah responsible if anything was missing. He even counted all those dresses. Carrie, for goodness sake, stop it. Can't you see he's terrified?
Where did he get that horrible thing?
The library. Didn't you see it before? I suppose death and dying and skulls and things get all mixed up in his mind. It's all right, Mr. Johnny. All right, Mr. Johnny. It's all right. Give it to me. Come on.
It's horrible. Horrible. Throw it out.
You don't understand. It's a sort of part of Druid's Bottom. There's a curse on it.
Curse?
Yes, the story goes that this is the skull of an African slave boy. And when he died, he put a curse on the house. This skull mustn't leave Druid's Bottom, or the place will fall down or go up in flames or something. It's daft, I know.
Why did you want to come up here? It's spooky.
Just a minute,
What are you doing?
Oh, it was just a chance.
A chance of what?
Heal look at her! Heal look at her!
He's trying to tell us something.
Try, Mr. Johnny. Please, try.
Mr. Evans does that. His false teeth are loose.
That's it. Mr. Evans took something out of the jewel box and put it in his pocket. That's it, isn't it, Mr. Johnny? I'm sure I'm right. Mr. Evans took an envelope out of the jewel box and put it in his pocket. I remember seeing one in here ages ago when she was showing me her jewels. And I bet you that envelope had her will in it.
But there isn't a will. Mr. Evans rang the solicitors, didn't he?
She needn't have told the solicitors anything. So long as a will has been witnessed, it's perfectly legal.
But if you're right, why should Mr. Evans want to take it?
Carrie, you innocent child. When somebody dies without making a will, everything they've got goes to their nearest relations. In this case, old Evans and your Auntie Lou. Nothing to Hepzibah, not even the right to stay on here. So all Evans had to do to get rid of Hepzibah was to find the will and destroy it.
But that would be terribly wrong.
clever girl, but if you hadn't babbled it all out, he wouldn't have known what was in the will, would he? And everything would have been all right. Somebody would have found out sooner or later.
That's not fair. Anyway, I don't believe Mr. Evans would do such a terrible thing. I just don't believe it.
You thought he'd be pleased when you gave him Mrs. Go-to-bed's message. Well, you were wrong about that, and you're wrong about this as well.
Gan yn hynny o'r ydym ni yn rhoddi a'i chorff I hirddeir. Prydd i'r prydd, lludw i'r lludw, llwch i'r llwch. Mewn gwir ddiogelobaeth o'r atgyfodiad I fywyd tragw, trwy ein harglwydd Iesu Grist. Yr hwn aniwydia ein corff gwael ni, fel y bod o'n gyffeli byw gorff gogonedd ei sef, oherwydd y nerthol weithrediad, trwy yr hwn y dichon I fe, ie, ddarostwng pob peth iddo ei hun. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Diolch yn fawr, Mr. Williams.
Popeth yn iawn, popeth yn iawn. £11.1.
How long do funerals take?
I don't know. I expect they'll be back soon. Oh, Nick, I gave Mrs. Williams the wrong change. How awful. Mr. Evans will be furious.
Mr. Evans? Mr. Evans? That's all you ever think about.
I can't help thinking about him. After what Albert said about Mrs. Go-to-bed's will. I keep going over and over it. I can't believe he'd do anything really dishonest. What do you think?
I think Mr. Evans is mean, mean, mean. Anyway, I don't think there was a will. Just Albert being know-all as usual. Hey, they're coming back.
Well, glad that's over. I don't know how that green woman had the nerve to put in an appearance with that smarmy look on her face.
Oh, Samuel, I think she was very fond of Dillis.
Oh, stop snivelling, woman, and make some tea. Everything all right, miss?
Yes, except I'm sorry I gave Mrs. Williams sixpence too little change.
Well, run up the road with it at once. I won't have any irregularities here. Oh, go on, find it, find it. Go on, girl, double quick now.
Come on, Carrie, get a move on. You'll be late for breakfast. You look awful.
I'm so tired.
You keep talking in your sleep, that's why. Going on about that stupid old will, you're daft.
Oh, Nick, it's not daft. Don't you care what's going to happen to Hepzibah and Mr. Johnny?
Of course I care, but what can we do?
I don't know.
Nick, Carrie. Come on.
If only I knew for sure. Albert's sure. But then he doesn't really know Mr. Evans. It's only Hepzibah he hates. Perhaps he really does think she bewitched his sister. Maybe she is a witch, like Albert said. It's all so unfair.
Carrie, Carrie, come quick. We're leaving. We're going to Scotland. It's from Mummy. She's going to Glasgow, to where Dad's ship is. She's got a house and we're going there at the end of the month.
Glasgow? Aren't you pleased, dear, to be going back to your mummy?
Yes, yes, I think so. I just sort of got used to it here.
I'll be sorry to see you go. There's been life in this house. First time I've known it.
I don't want to leave you, Auntie Lou. I do love you.
I tell you what, I'll get out my old box brownie camera and then you can take some photographs, souvenirs like, to remember us by.
I'll never forget you, Auntie Lou. I'll never forget being in Wales, not as long as I live.
No, neither will I.
Mr. Johnny, turn the calf round. I can't see his face and I can't see yours. Come on, turn him round.
Oh.
Turn round. I can't see him. Turn him round. I want to see his face, Mr. Johnny. Turn him round.
Well, looks as if we'll all be pulling up sticks together, eh? I reckon we ought to have a farewell party the day before you go, Carrie, eh? Albert?
If you like. Don't suppose there'll be many parties where I'm going.
Where are you going, Albert?
To Morgan, the minister.
Oh, I'm sick of you two. Talk about Mr. Misery and Miss Gloom. Why don't you go and do something sensible, like collect the eggs? Go on.
I'm sorry I've been so horrid to you. It's not your fault what's happened. I was just so angry. I had to blame somebody. I'm sorry you're going. It's bad enough Hepzibah and Mr. Johnny going.
Have they got somewhere yet?
No. Bottomless.
Is it?
No, that's nonsense. Come on, let's get these eggs.
I did think of asking Mr. Evans.
Asking him what?
Well, whether Hepzibah could stay on here. But I only thought. I didn't do it.
Me too.
You mean you were going to ask Mr. Evans?
Good grief, no. I went down to Mr. Reese's office. You know, the solicitor in Market Square. I was going to tell him about what Mrs. Gotobed told me and what she really wanted for Hepzibah and Mr. Johnny. And I thought there was a will. And maybe somebody would make a proper search. But then I thought I'd sound like one of those ghastly boy detectives in a kid's story. I could just hear Mr. Reese saying, "Missing will, is it? Oh, go back to your comics, little boy." Maybe if you'd been there, I would have gone through with it. I'm just a stupid, rotten coward.
Well, it wouldn't have helped being brave. Mr. Reese wouldn't have listened. Grown-ups only listen to other grown-ups.
But if I was grown up, I could do something. I could look after Hepzibah and buy Druid's Bottom, and we could all stay there together. You and Nick too. Though I suppose you want to go to Scotland to be with your mother.
Not specially. I mean, I do want to go in one way, but in another, I'd far rather stay here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shillings.
Right. So, you're off then. The day after tomorrow. You and young Nicodemus. Everything packed, I hope. I don't want to find bits and pieces lying around. can't afford to send things all the way to Glasgow.
I think we've got everything, Mr. Evans.
Thought we might all go for a bit of a picnic tomorrow. A last treat, see. Take a long dinner break. Told your Auntie Lou to pack up some sandwiches. A bit cold, maybe, for sitting around, but a nice, bracing walk first.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. That sounds lovely. Nick loves picnics.
Right, then. I'm going to miss my assistant. You've been a real help to me, Carrie.
It was a lovely picnic, Auntie Lou.
That's good, dear.
Yeah, super. Lovely 2 sandwiches.
As long as you enjoyed it.
Oh, we did.
I used to come up here a lot when I was your age. Brought your auntie, too. She was a baby then. I used to sit her down and dare her to move. Do you remember that, Lou?
Oh, yes, Samuel, yes.
Good days, those were. Well, I suppose you might as well have these now. Yes, just some keepsakes to remember us by. Here's yours, young Nick. And that's yours.
Oh, thank you.
Well, open them up, then.
Marvellous. Thank you, Mr. Evans.
From your Auntie Lou as well.
Thank you. I've wanted one of these for a long time. It's my very best thing.
Take care of it, mind.
Yes, I will. What's yours, Carrie?
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. Well, as long as you're pleased. Well, best be getting back. Some of us have got to work for our living. Oh, come on, young Nick. I wouldn't have got anywhere if I'd moved at your pace.
That's the best apple pie I've ever had.
And the last for now, Mr. Cupboard Lover. Not one more crumb, or you'll be sick on the journey tomorrow.
He was sick when we came.
I was not.
Oh, yes, you were. And it was all your own fault because you were greedy and ate all my chocolate.
It's not true I wasn't sick.
That's right, Mr. Johnny. Now, hush now. The pair of you.
You still got that old skull, Hepzibah.
Mr. Johnny, come on now, give it to me. You can't have it. You know, he's had all the silver spoons out in the yard this morning. I'm so afraid Mr. Evans will find something missing.
Come on, Mr. Johnny, hand it over.
You won't get it that way, Albert. Look what I've got, Mr. Johnny. Give me that first. Mr. Evans gave me the knife. Carrie got a ring.
Oh, show it to me, Carrie, love.
That's her ring, Mrs. Gotobed's, the one she always wore. He stole it.
Albert, you can't steal what belongs to you. His sister's rings are his now, to keep or give away if he chooses. And I'm glad he's given it to you, Carrie. So would Mrs. Gotobed if she were here. So don't take any notice of Albert's old nonsense.
It's not nonsense. He's no right to take anything till the estate's been settled. That's the law. I read it in the library. If he took the ring, he might have taken something else as well.
Albert, that's enough. Don't hear any more. Oh, quite enough on my mind without you keeping on. It's all settled and that's an end to it.
I'll take the skull back to the library. Then we'll have to go. Auntie Lou said not to be late. He hasn't any right to the house. It's not what she wanted. She wouldn't want it like this. I know she wouldn't. She'd rather nobody had the house.